Good morning, everybody. So I feel like the dissonance between my backdrop and my outfit today, it really says a lot about who I am as a person. Okay, anyway. Hey there, guys. I'm Cheyenne, and welcome back to my dream house. This is where we take the horrors that are going on outside and we put them on a shelf for a little bit. We don't leave them there forever because that's how you get cabaret, right? It's important to stay politically active, but we put them on the shelf for a little bit because you can't focus on that stuff all the time. It will drive you insane. And in order to not have a complete mental breakdown, we do a little craft project here in the dream house. My first video on this channel was me doing all of the decorating and laying out and setting up in this room, which is my sewing room. We have also since done my bathroom, made that all clown themed. And then I didn't do these as videos, but we have decorated our living room. The theme for that, I mean, there's not a really hard theme. It's basically just like movies and toys out there. And then our kitchen is kind of more retro diner 50s aesthetic, for lack of a better word, as much as we could do with our budget. So the last big room that's left, there's still like a little hallway. I would love to put some AstroTurf out on our little front patio situation, but the last big room that like it has to get done for my personal mental sanity is the bedroom. So the master bedroom in this place is laid out very similarly to the master bedroom in our old place. So the vibe is going to be very similar, but I want to take the decor that I had in our old place and kind of up it while we're here. You could talk your ear off about it, but I feel like it'll be easier if you see it, so why don't we head in there? So here is our bedroom as it currently stands. Nothing really done to it, just our crap everywhere. There is something about plain white walls like this. Maybe it's because I went to boarding school and I lived in dorms a lot. It just makes my teeth itch. It really sets me on edge, and I know that there's something that we can do in this room to make it a little bit more of our vibe. There's especially something about the hallway of the two closets. It's just white and I don't love it. We also have some practical things we need to do, like we need curtains for that window. The sun assaults us every morning. There's a lot we can do in here, is what I'm saying. So before we get started, let's talk inspiration. My husband and I have been collecting old school vacuum form Halloween masks basically since we started living together, and I would really love to really feature those, create kind of an accent wall. That was the start of what we suggested. My husband and I also have a lot of glow-in-the-dark toys, so we really would love to showcase those. We really want the aesthetic and the feel to be kind of 90s goosebumps, fun, glowy, Halloween-y, if that makes sense. So there will definitely be some Beetlejuice in terms of the colors that get used, because we already have the Beetlejuice bedspread, and I do have a lot of Beetlejuice art that I would like to put up. But for the most part, the goal is that specific feeling of like a grade school Halloween party in, say, 1997. Does that make sense? And we really want to showcase that glowy feeling. I'm actually kind of stealing an idea. In our old place, my husband had one glow light above a couple of his glow-in-the-dark toys in his office that he had gotten out of like an old aquarium or something, I think. And I really loved that idea, so I said, what if we did that to our entire bedroom? And my husband found some lights, so we're going to have black light LEDs that we can switch on at any time and just make the whole room glow like crazy. So the goal is to do a like retro, glow-in-the-dark, uranium glass, Halloween mask, ooky spooky. That's the vibe, right? I want it to look very kitschy and campy and cool and fun, and just I feel better when there's stuff around that makes me happy, and so does my husband. So thankfully we have very similar design ethos. I ran all this by him. He actually had some very cool ideas that I'm very excited to add into this. But my purple contact paper is here. I think I found the perfect purple. It's bright, but it's not garish. And I didn't want anything that was too dark. I think this is perfect for an accent wall. I think the whole room would be a little much, but I think for an accent wall, this is gonna be perfect. I hope I have enough. The fact that I just have to go down to the top of the bed, I think it's gonna help me kind of piece it out to make sure that this is gonna work. So I'm gonna start cutting my pieces. I'm probably gonna have to move the bedside tables and stuff. So let's just get to work. And from there, it was time to get started on the accent wall. I moved everything out of the way, and thankfully this is, I think, the third room that I have done a peel and stick wallpaper situation like this. So I'm pretty good at it at this point. I know to roll and cut my pieces first before I attach anything, and having a solid color is a lot easier, but I still really took my time. Only did parts of this on camera just so I could really focus, and I'm really excited for you to see it. Okay, next up is this hallway closet. So there are 2 closets on either side of the hallway to the bathroom with these like sliding panels. Yes, both closets are mine, except for this one husband corner. Listen, he knows who he married, okay? And it's just a very blank hallway, but we can't really put art on these because they have to slide. So I figure this is gonna be the Beetlejuice hallway. So I bought some stripe contact paper, and the idea is that I'm going to cover both of the doors on either side with this. I'm not 1000% sure that I'm gonna have enough, but there's only one way to find out, right? So let's get to work. Spoiler alert, it was not quite enough to do both sets of doors, but it was enough for me to do one side and make sure that I really liked it, enough to order more. This took a little bit longer than the purple did, just because you really have to make sure that the stripes are straight, but because they are just solid, I was able to kind of piece in some spots, so that made it a little bit easier overall. Next up, my husband and I have these beautiful retro Bride of Frankenstein and Frankenstein posters that we used to have hanging up in our old bedroom that I really loved, but we had never actually put them in frames. I decided it was finally time. Like, we're both in our late 30s at this point. We can't just have posters pinned up, you know? So I found some frames that were approximately the same size as them. I painted those a green to match stuff. And then the frames ended up being slightly longer than the posters, so I did end up having to do kind of like a DIY mat on them. I just got a roll of black construction paper and taped that to the top and the bottom of the cardboard, just so there would be black behind the posters instead of cardboard color, you know? And then I was able to go in and mount the posters onto that and then put the frames on. I think it looked so much nicer, so much more polished than just having those posters pinned to the wall would be. Next up, I finally got our masks out. My husband and I have been collecting vacuform masks. I'm pretty sure they're some of the first things that we bought when we first moved in together, but I felt like they needed a little something extra, so I found some UV reactive paint and I added it to a bunch of the masks in kind of strategic places. So like for the Bride of Frankenstein, I put some on her hair streaks. A lot of them, I just added it anywhere that there was white. I did end up learning that that wasn't always the best plan. I did a lot of it on this Misfits mask, and it moved a bunch of the gray around on it because this paint was so like stripping. So just words for the wise. Then it was time to start putting things up, and we also had to replace, I had those little dinky lamps, and we needed something a little bit nicer. My husband and I found these really beautiful green mid-century lamps on Facebook Marketplace. We paid $15 for the both of them, and then I covered the lampshades with the same contact paper that's in the closet. I think it looks so great. Next, we finally got to put all of the masks up. My husband and I kind of talked through the layout flat first, and then started putting them all up. This is one of those things that it took a while. We ended up having to move a couple of them. We initially wanted all the clowns together, but Shorty and Spike from Killer Clowns, their hair was too big, so we ended up having to move them. But overall, I'm really happy with how we end up laying them out. I think it came out so cute. This took a lot of time, but it was so worth it. This Bride of Frankenstein and Frankenstein were the first ones we ever got together, so they had to be in the center, and then everything else around them just kind of changed a little bit. We did end up putting these 3 masks together. So we have a pumpkin, a skeleton, and a witch mask. Those are to represent the 3 masks in Halloween 3 Season of the Witch, which is our favorite Halloween movie. I have since replaced this witch mask with an official Halloween 3 witch mask. Eventually, I really want to replace the pumpkin and the skull as well, so we can have the Halloween 3 masks above our bed, because I'm weird. Then last up, we just needed to put up a few more shelves and put up all of our art. I ended up thrifting a bunch of frames so we could have some that were kind of unique shapes, and then we painted most of them either black or gold just so they would all kind of be cohesive. We did end up having to supplement some, but I highly recommend going to the thrift store first when you need frames. I just feel like it gives it more personality. And with that, at least for now, the bedroom is done. I am so happy with how everything ended up coming together. I think that the masks pop so beautifully against the purple. We got a matching striped curtain. All of the Beetlejuice stuff kind of ended up in this one corner. We have some pictures from a Beetlejuice photo shoot me and my husband did. We have my signed playbill by Alex Brightman. I love him so much. And overall, it's just nice to kind of have all of the stuff that we have been collecting over the years really be showcased. A lot of this stuff is pieces that I've purchased at cons or that we found on dates to the thrift store or the antique mall, and it's really nice to have everything be displayed in a way where you can actually kind of see it. It's still a little cluttered, but we both like cluttered as an aesthetic, so that's perfectly fine. And for the most part, we have everything in frames. There's still a couple of things that we need to get frames for, but I am so happy with how everything came together. There's a lot of me, there's a lot of my husband in here in terms of like the toys, in terms of the placement of things. We were really collaborative on this. Obviously, I'm talking about it more in the video, but he was very involved. And I was able to get all my Monster High girlies put up. I might be doing a separate video just talking through my Monster High collection. Let me know if that's something that you're interested in. I think one of my favorite features is this Beetlejuice hallway now. There's something about it that is just so satisfying to look at. I think it needs a rug though. And then my husband was very adamant that I make sure it was clear that the creature from the Black Lagoon was not being left out of the bedroom. He has his own space. My husband's bathroom is all Creature from the Black Lagoon themed. It was really important to him that you guys knew that we didn't forget about him. He has his own special space. So this is the finished room. I feel so happy in this room. It's very crazy. I was looking at the before footage as I was finishing up today, because this has been a process, right? we did a little bit at a time with it because we're trying to be sane about it in terms of budget, and it's crazy to think that this room was just blank white before, because it feels like this is how it's supposed to look. This feels so correct to me and my husband and our interests and our aesthetic. I'm so lucky that I have a man that is just as tacky as I am, because he understood every choice I made in here. But yeah, overall, I'm so happy in here. Anytime that I wake up, it just makes the day a little bit better. Getting to end the day in here makes it a little bit better. There is a book that I read recently, or I listened to the audiobook, called Women Living Deliciously, and one of the things that she talks about in that book is something that I've really started to internalize, and I think I was doing this maybe not even thinking about it before that, and it is basically taking the time to make yourself up or make your space look the way that you want. It's good for your mental health because you get to look at things that make you happy to look at, right? But more importantly than that, it is you affirming to yourself that you are worthy of that care and that effort and that time, right? This was superfluous in a lot of ways. I'm sure a lot of people would say that this was unnecessary, but it is something that is a reminder to myself and to my husband that we are deserving of the time that it took to make this room feel a way that we particularly really like, and that we deserve to be surrounded by things that bring us joy. It is specifically a idea that is kind of affirming, and I really love that. I really love how a lot of our DIY stuff came out. I am obsessed with the way that these lamps look. They are just exactly what I wanted them to look like. I'm so glad that I did the contact paper. I have seen some people put contact paper on the insides of lampshades. I'm tempted to maybe add some, but I don't know what I would do. I think it's a neat idea more than anything. I love the way that the masks came together. It's a little tricky because as much as I would love to add more masks to the wall, I think they're so just like centered and perfect and beautiful right now that I'm not in a huge rush to add any. I love that we took the time to frame and hang a lot of posters, a lot of art that we've been collecting for years and years and years. It's nice to see things actually up and nice, right? And this is, in my mind, like kind of Mach 2 of this bedroom aesthetic. We had a slightly less involved version of it in the apartment we lived in before this. In my dreams, the next time that I do this kind of vibe in a room, it will be in a house that we own and that I can do more with. Because there are a lot of things in here that I'm just letting go because it's, you know, an apartment. There's only so much we can do. We tried to keep this as renter friendly and sane as possible, right? That purple is contact paper. It's gonna come right down. Same with in the closet area. Yeah, we have stuff pinned to the wall and screwed in, but that's not that big of a deal to us. But like, I would love to put different carpet down than this beige apartment carpet. I would love to be in a situation where we could paint the ceiling, because there's like this shot I'm obsessed with. It looks so good. But then you tilt up and there's something about it just ending at the ceiling that to me is a little jarring, and I feel like eventually I would love in a future version of this to have the ceiling be painted something. I don't know. But yeah, overall, I am super, super happy with the space. I am super happy with the decor. I am so glad that we took the time to do this. And I'm so glad that I took the time to show it all to you. But there is one thing that I haven't shown you yet that I'm sure you've been wondering about. So I think it's time. Minion!
Yes?
Flip the switch.
Oh, yeah. Yes, master!
So yeah, that's gonna be it for this week. I hope that you have such a great day and such a great rest of your time. This channel is still super new, so if you feel like liking, subscribing, all of that stuff. I don't know if there will be any more home decor content for a little bit, because like this was the last big room that I wanted to decorate. But I mean, I'm still doing a lot of sewing content, a lot of DIY content, and I'm sure I'll come up with some house projects that I need to do. And until next time, you are loved, you are special, just the way you are. And I hope that you have a good rest of your day. I'm so happy you're here. All right, until next time, bye.